Comes to us from Travis. I'm convinced this entire e-begging collecting community is well aware that they have addiction problems, possibly stemming from something dark deep within themselves. Anybody that dares bring up points that remind them of such darkness is a troublemaker and needs to go away. Their fans, most likely the same kind of issues, since they are too quick to brand anyone who brings up such issues as a troublemaker. They need to beg people on the internet for money while projecting themselves as great people, rather than basket cases filled with sadness and a lack of will to grow up. Look at these e-beggars. They have walls of toys, video games, comics, etc., but no one will do the grown-up thing and either get a job or sell their own personal toys to get what they want. Not saying there's anything wrong with having these things. I collect a little myself. But these people don't even want to hear the possibility of selling their own stuff to pay for what's important in life. Their fans are also enablers. If more and more of their fans called them out, they wouldn't be able to silence the criticism, as it would become too large, and they would have to make some changes. But their fans are enablers for obvious unhealthy behavior. I've seen them called elitist, but I don't think of them in that way. I see them as sick people that need help. Stop sending your whole check on PSP limited editions and buy a goddamn bed. The last thing Travis said there was a reference to Radical Reggie. Now, Radical Reggie is a person that has a fantastic game collection, a wonderful game collection, but he also sleeps on the floor. He has a mattress, yes, but he has no box spring. So he sleeps on the floor because of the game collection. When you make a choice like that, when you choose something like your games over something like a box spring and a frame, when you look at it and say, well, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need that. I need another game. I need to keep my collection going. I would say that's a sickness. I would say that. You know, it's weird if I look at a lot of these YouTubers in a different light. If you do also. Now, I'm not saying, all or even a majority of these, YouTubers or all these people that collect have sicknesses. But sometimes you can see it. You can clearly see the sickness. Addiction. That's a great way to call it. Now, people can get addicted on a variety of things. Anything that makes you happy, right? Drugs, alcohol, sex, many things a person can become addicted to. There's a lot of people, and I've never talked about it, that are addicted to, getting online and giving lots of money to, Twitch streamers, thoughts, or, just getting on adult sites and, emptying their bank accounts. People can get addicted to anything, but it's on people, the people close to these people that see this addiction, to try to do an intervention. You talk about a lot of the enablers, which are people coming into his channels. I would say a lot of people that go to Radical Reggie's channel, have an addiction themselves. You spoke on Radical Reggie. He doesn't prioritize things like having a bed or a proper vehicle, a nice running vehicle, or, you see that he had the flat soda in his refrigerator. I think back on that, and it's almost like maybe he's proud of that. He's proud to show you all the sacrifices he has made for his gaming addiction. Collection. All the sacrifices he has made. I'll tell you what happens in the real world. Okay? In the real world, when you sacrifice everything for an addiction, whether it's games, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, it doesn't have a happy ending. Here's a scenario. Let's say, you're collecting games and you got to get something new. You're saving up for a Switch. Let's say you almost got enough money for a Switch. But you notice on the way to GameStop to get the Switch, you hear a loud creaking of one of your car belts, right? The responsible thing to do would probably be to go ahead and get that car fixed and not to get the Switch. But you get the Switch, Months go down and it gets worse and worse. But, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it, right? You crank up the radio, you don't want to hear it. Because you got a Switch now. You got to get all those limited edition run Switch games. Well, you're driving on the interstate one day. You're going on another game hunt. The belt snaps. You lose control of the car. And you run right into a 18-wheeler. And you're dead. You're dead now. Because you didn't do the responsible thing. You couldn't deal with your addiction. Now, that's just a gaming element. But I've known people personally that have alcohol addiction. and none of them had died. But I think of Scott Hall, who he's a wrestler, Scott Hall, and he had a terrible alcohol addiction, and pretty much everybody was like, yeah, he's gonna die, at some point, even just from drunk driving. So I would say to any of you that see somebody that just has an addiction in general, to do your best to try to intervene. And if you saw somebody that was drinking heavily, or taking drugs, you probably intervene. But you see all these people that have these game collections that are sacrificing all these things that they should do in their life, all these things that they should address in their life because they just want to get that next PS2 game or that next console to complete their collections. If you're a friend of these people, you should probably intervene.